bottom line. You want a war? You're going to get one.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Back for
What's up,
another
boys?
week of the bottom line. It's a short week. It's a short
Feels
week,
like a short week with the Sunday show.
but we're not going to continue where we left off on Sunday's show. We got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Good. If
As
you
bad
want
as
to catch
Chan
up on
wants
the
to keep talking college playoffs, we're going to move on.
if you want to check out the college playoffs, go check out the Sunday show. We covered it at nauseum.
No,
At
hey, Henry, how you doing? So what hot topic for Brett, did you want to talk UFL at all, or are we going right into college?
Yeah, we can talk UFL real briefly. I'm sure a lot of you are aware Rich Rod is going to be the next hire at West Virginia. He was there previously and did a great job, went on to Michigan eventually. You guys know the story. It's a comeback for Rich Rod. Man, he was one of the 2 or 3 hot names 15 years ago. I mean, and he fell to the bottom. But that's the word is that I don't know if it might be announced tonight, but he will be the hire at West Virginia. On the schedule, I talked with a couple people earlier today, and like I'd said, what was it, December 13th or 15th is when those 2 soccer leagues were going to announce their schedules. And we're supposed to hopefully get the UFL schedule. I was told today by Christmas. I'm hoping by New Year's, but anyways, in the next couple of weeks we'll have a schedule. I would be really surprised, and I hate it, but I know Beck's still looking around at other jobs, possible coordinator jobs, tight end coach, maybe in the NFL. I would be very surprised if he is the head coach in St. Louis come March 28th. But again, they will have a fantastic replacement. Him and the GM has done a great job again stacking that roster. They are one of the most talented rosters in the UFL right now, if not the most. I haven't heard any rumors on replacements or anything like that, but I would be very, very surprised if Beck is the head man in St. Louis next year. Other than that, there's been a few signings here and there. Still haven't got any word on exactly the location for the championship game. I would imagine that would come out with the schedule in a week or two whenever we get that. I think Houston had an event last night. I need to check in on that, and I'll share that on the bottom line page. But other than that, that's about where we're at currently with the UFL.
Yeah, I think you're right, Brett, on Coach Becht. I think right, wrong, or other with the AJ McCarron situation, and there was a comment that you could take not kindly if you were from another team about the coaches and taking it seriously and stuff like that.
Right.
When you start looking back at that, you start seeing him shopping around this, that, and the other. Maybe he kind of read the tea leaves himself, saying, "I'm going somewhere else," or "I'm looking to do something else," and it didn't. It is what it is.
The only thing I brought up that I'm a little confused about, and I'm sure the GM Bowler or whatever it was on board with him. If Beck was openly looking for jobs elsewhere, for that big money bag, so to speak, I don't know why he would run off St. Louis's starting quarterback and him not possibly being there in March. I'm a little confused on that. I think eventually, the details of that will come out. Not hearing any rumors on if AJ's going to sign with another team. It's kind of gone quiet. But I don't think Becht is doing this to try to get the money back up for the UFL coaches. I mean, it is what it is. The league has a budget in place. They have a plan in place. And, we don't want to lose any coaches. I think Beck's done a great job there. And just my 2 cents, which means nothing, I don't know if Beck's ready for a big-time job like that. He very well might be. I don't know. I think he's done a well of a job in St. Louis, but you go back to some of his previous coaching experience. Is he ready to run his own squad outside the UFL?
Guess we'll find out whether he's here or not soon enough.
Right. Yep.
My guess is you'll see things pick up once we get past the new year.
Yeah. Yep. It'll be wild then. Like I said, the schedule's supposed to be out within 2 weeks. From what I gather, the schedule's already made, but some kind of legality with the DC Defenders Stadium, Audi Field, and Arlington with their soccer venue, they're not allowed to release it till the soccer schedules are released. I know Birmingham's not going to be at home for game 1. They've got the big monster truck deal down there that opening weekend. And so we're obviously going to be on the road, but should be getting some exciting updates and maybe some rumors out in the next month or two on who the 2 expansion teams will be for 2026 as well. Down there that opening weekend.
So let's, if that's it for the UFL.
That's it.
Short and sweet. Let's get into some college talk. We got several things in college we want to cover. What do you want to tackle first? You want to tackle
what's happening in college? What's happening in college?
Yeah. Yeah, we covered that.
Cover Heisman front runners first, or
let's talk about the Heisman front runners.
Let's just look at the Heisman. That'll be easier to start off with. Who wins the Heisman, boys? Who's in your Heisman?
I think that we started off. They got 4 invites. Oregon's Dylan Gabriel, Colorado's Travis Hunter, Boise State's Ashton Gianti.
Genty.
Miami's Cam Ward. And if I was a bet man, I would put all my chips to the center of the table for Travis Hunter. I just think that when you're a 2-way player in college football, that's such a rarity that puts you head and shoulders above everybody right off the bat.
Well, that Ashton Giantry, he's something else, man. I've watched him play some. He's pretty damn special, I think.
The trouble that I have, and I agree with you, Chad, but the trouble I have with Genty is he's doing it against the Mountain West.
Okay, I heard the same thing about Tomlinson when he was coming out of college out of TCU.
Right. But what I'm saying is, when you are doing that,
that's going to hurt him with the voting.
Yeah, when you're doing that against the Mountain West, it doesn't mean he's not a great player. But you have Travis Hunter, who's a two-way guy in a better conference. I mean, think about it. When is the last time we've had a two-way player, one, and, you know,
Champ Bailey,
how rare is it?
Hines Ward. Hines Ward played 5 different positions when he was at Georgia.
Yeah.
Champ Bailey played both ways. The Michigan guy, I can't think of his name. He won the Heisman.
Desmond Howard?
No.
Or not Desmond. Jesus.
The Raider. I can't think of his name right now.
Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson. He played 2 ways. It's been done. Ashton Gentry, I mean, with the extra playoff game, he is going to take a shot at the record, Barry Sanders' rushing record that nobody thought could ever be touched. And of course, Barry did it in 11 games, and he's already gone 12.
Right.
It's still pretty amazing.
He's been my favorite really since week 2. I'd started posting about him, but around week 7 or 8, I started giving the lean to Hunter, because I got to watch more and more games. Now, Genty's a fantastic running back, but when it gets to maybe the best player with the best overall talent, I'd probably lean to Hunter. I mean, I think that's the two that you're going to see. Ward will probably finish 3rd, and Gabriel will finish 4th out of Oregon, but who knows?
The thing is, I think Hunter's defensive skills are a little inflated. I don't think he's quite the defensive player. Like, he might be the number 1 receiver off the board in the draft.
Right.
He definitely won't be the number 1 corner taken out of the draft. Definitely. The scouts are saying
I would agree with that.
4 guys. There's 3 or 4 guys better than him. But the fact that he's in the he's in the top 2 or 3 wide receivers in the country, in the top handful of defense cornerbacks in the country is pretty spectacular. But Gentry, Gianti, or however you spell it, however you say his
Genty.
He's fantastic. My worry is, as an NFL guy, is how much tread is off them tires.
Right.
Well, I know, when Dion was in the NFL, they let him dabble at wide receiver every now and then, but they pretty much made him choose, or they put him on one side of the ball. So Travis Hunter, they're probably either going to make a wide receiver or defensive back. I hate to think he'll play both.
No, he'll be a wide receiver. He'll be a wide receiver.
Yeah, he'll be a wide out.
He's a much better receiver than he is a corner. But I mean, if you put him in last year's draft as a receiver, I don't think he touches the top 6 wide receivers taken. I mean,
he needs to put some weight on. He needs to get some muscle on him.
So it'll be interesting. At least it's fun for a change. It doesn't look like it's going to be a quarterback. Thank the Lord. I'm so tired of it being a quarterback the whole time. So that makes it interesting and fun, and that'll give us something to watch Saturday night after the Navy Army game.
Yeah, I tend to lean with Brett on this. I think it's probably going to be Hunter, followed by Genty, Ward, and Gabriel. If I had to bet $1,000, that's how I would bet. Could Genty win it? Yeah. Would he be deserving? Yeah. But I think if I had $1,000 and I had to lay it down, I'm with Ed. I'd have to put it on Hunter.
So did Shedeur get screwed out of getting invited to New York? Should he have been invited? Should he be in on the discussion? What do you guys think?
His ego should have been invited.
Well, it's between him and Gabriel, because I don't know. Well, Gabriel transferred twice, and he'd only been in Oregon for his senior season. I don't know. Gabriel kind of seemed a little suspect to me. I would have probably had Sanders in there instead.
Well, and I don't know, and you guys could tell me different.
We will.
Well, probably, but you know, if you look at prospects and you look at how the NFL views them, where does a Gabriel fit in there?
I don't know. He's pretty short, isn't he? How tall?
Hey.
Second round, third round, fourth round? I don't know. Mystery relevant. I
don't know.
idea.
The way they prop up quarterbacks in the drafts now, he'll end up being a first rounder.
I hate to side with Chad on this. He thankfully he hadn't had as many injuries as Tua, but he reminds me a lot of Tua, lefty, undersized, and don't have a cannon for an arm. But you know, Tua's stats are fantastic. It's just a matter of trying to keep him healthy, and he doesn't have the 60 or 70 yard bomb arm, but they do remind me of each other quite a bit.
They have him listed. They have him listed at 6 foot 200.
That means he's 5'10" and a half.
Yeah.
Well, the league went so pro wide receiver here the last few years that kind of looks like, you know, especially with Barkley's success this year and the two-headed monster in Detroit, there's kind of been a resurgence a little bit of the running back. And Mike Palco says running back winning would be healthy for the game.
I agree. It'd be healthy for the running backs' paychecks. I mean, look at what Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley's done this year in the NFL.
Yep. So I don't know. What do you think, Ed? What do you think about all this?
Oh, I like I said, as I started off with, I think Travis Hunter's head and shoulders going to win it. I mean, I just think it's such a rarity to, you know, back in the day, not to toot my own horn, but back in the old football days in high school, I never left the field. But that's a little bit different than trying to
You think so?
do that in college. I mean, holy crap.
So you think that's who will win? Who do you think deserves to win? It's a different question. Do you think he deserves to win then also?
It's between him and how you guys say Gianti?
No, Genty.
Genty.
I don't know why we're making it so hard, Ed, but we're really making it hard.
Must be age. It must be the age.
Yeah. Old man.
I think it's Ashton Genty.
Yeah,
Genty.
Ashton Genty.
It don't really roll off the tongue. I'll give you that.
No.
Yeah. If
So,
I
I mean-
had a vote, I'd give it to Hunter, but that's just me.
Listen,
All right.
I can't argue. I mean, if Genty wins, I'm not going to be disappointed.
No, I'll be happy. He's a good kid.
Yeah, if Hunter wins, I wouldn't be disappointed. Now, if all of a sudden a Gabriel or a Ward come out of the left field, I'd be like, whoa,
Yeah.
what happened here? Like,
Yeah.
so I have zero problem with Genty or Hunter, either one winning it. I'm not gonna. I think you could make an argument for both, and you could make an argument for one being better or the other, or you can make an argument. It's fine.
So John poses this question. If Ashton was on Colorado, would they be a playoff team if Hunter wasn't on the team?
The way I mean, he's so worried about his son Shador with slinging the ball around, they probably wouldn't get the ball to Ashton very much.
Yeah.
I don't
So I
think
would say no.
his number of carries would have been substantially down.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, Deion can say what he wants, but Shador's going to get his throws in. Shador's going to run the ball himself. So,
Yeah.
Is this a possibility? Did Colorado try and tear Ashton away from Boise, or is that his own little
No, that was just a
little what if?
just a little what if,
Okay, all right.
you know. And like I said, if Genty wins it, I'm totally okay with that. I don't, you know.
Like Albert says here, but you know, if you really look at it,
I agree with Albert on that.
With the exception of Oregon, though, would you consider Colorado, Miami, or Boise State a power? I mean,
Well, no, I think he's talking about in the past. It's been very prevalent and the team's usually in the playoffs, going for a championship, with the Derrick Henry and the Devontae Smith and a lot of those other guys that's won it in the past.
So I'd say either, no matter who they crown this year, it's
it'll
fall in that category. So
yeah.
I mean,
that's
why the Oregon guy's on the list. That's why he's on the invite, because
I agree with you.
He's the quarterback of the number one team.
I agree. I agree.
I think there's a bylaw in the Heisman that you have to invite the quarterback of the number one team in the country. It's there. You have to.
Do they consider who would fit in best in the Heisman house?
Gino Torretta. Yeah. That's all I got to say. Gino Torretta.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
He never recovered from that 92 Sugar Bowl, did he?
Back in
it's Viking pick right there. Gino Torretta.
The quarterback bias goes back a long way. As an Iowa State fan, Troy Davis finished fifth in 95, finished second runner-up in 96 to who? Danny Warfel.
Yeah.
And you know what's crap about that year? Troy Davis won 3 out of the 4 regions. Except for one, the South region.
So next topic, guys. Who would have thought a couple weeks ago that we'd be seeing this picture?
Woo!
Not me.
What do you think? Does he look good in blue? I find it kind of fitting that he takes on a job at a North Carolina school that's prevalent for basketball, and his sweatshirt he's got on has a basketball emblem on it.
Yeah,
they announced today that as part of the package to bring him on as head coach, North Carolina agreed to raise the NIL money for him to work with from $6 million to $20 million. So it sounds to me like they're going to be working the old transfer portal big time, and they're going to be looking to make North Carolina prevalent on day one.
Immediately, yep. That's top 5 payroll money in college football right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's up there with Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, a lot of the others.
If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that come mid-December, Bill Belichick is going to be named the head coach of a football program and a football program that is underneath of a basketball program, I'd have told you was crazy.
You have been drinking.
Well, can
you imagine?
In the ACC.
As Amanda points out here, that if he wants to win, he has to have a good quarterback. All I can say is, who's available. McNamara out of Iowa.
No. She said good quarterback. She said good quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you what, he might win the Heisman after he worked with Belichick. Who knows?
Maybe Mitch Trubisky has a year of NCAA eligibility. He can come back and help out his alma mater.
Who would have thought? That is, can you imagine Belichick sitting in some living room trying to get some mom to send her son to their school?
No.
Listen, you can come. I don't even know if I want you. I mean, I've watched.
I don't even know if you're going to play.
Good. I don't even know if you're going to play. I don't know.
Are you worth any money or you're not? I don't know.
Hey, you can come if you want to. I gotta go.
He might not have hired Nick Saban as his recruiting coordinator. I'm just saying. He doesn't need to be out on the recruiting trail.
You know what the greatest thing about this signing is? Thank God we have Bill Belichick back at a football podium post-game conference. He's so wordy. He's so his expressions are amazing. Like I can't wait for it.
His smile sends chills down my spine. It's so creepy. No, you can't smile. You don't smile, Bill Belichick.
Coach, how would you evaluate how your team played today. We didn't play very good.
That's it.
What part of the game? What part of your team's game do you think you need to improve on? Well, we didn't win, so I would say everything. I can't wait. I miss them so much.
Then he'll say, "On to Notre Dame."
Yeah.
On to Notre Dame.
On to Notre Dame.
This is gonna be a very interesting season coming up next year. I'm excited to see him at North Carolina. See what he can do. See what he does in the college world.
Did you guys see?
He might kill it. Who knows?
Maybe.
That's the thing, man, because you really don't know. That's the fascinating part about it.
He announces that Patricia's on his coaching staff, and
that just shows you, people bag on him, after Tom left, and so clearly it was all Tom. I think it was both. I mean, clearly he's the greatest NFL coach of all time. Look at all of his assistants, all of his
coaching
assistant coaches and his personnel people, but they all went everywhere and they all failed without him. Every single one of them failed without him. That's how great he was.
Well, I think it's unfair when people say if it wasn't for Brady, X. Bill Belichick is a good coach. There's no question about it. So to sit there and say, well, it was all Brady and Belichick okay. So Brady is taking care of the offense. Brady did special teams. Brady did defense. Brady, no. Brady was great. I don't think anybody on this panel would argue that. But you know what?
Yep.
I find it very tough that anybody on this panel could argue that Bill Belichick is not a good football coach.
You hear Brady talk about Belichick and what he has meant to him, and he gets choked up. And it meant a lot to him. Yeah, they had their differences and everything, but the ballsy move to keep him starting and not start Bledsoe. I mean, I know you and Brett are pretty young, so maybe you don't remember Drew Bledsoe, but old man like Ed and I can tell you all about
Bledsoe was good.
I can still see Bledsoe going when he got hurt and Brady came in.
Yeah.
Was on the sideline. I can see the play. So, I mean, yeah, I would never jump on the train of Belichick has not earned anything. It's all Brady. That's false. Yeah, Belichick's biggest downfall in the NFL is when they gave him full power.
Well, when he became not as good of a talent analyzer, because he always had total control. It's at the end, those last few years, where he just wasn't the same.
Yeah,
it's funny that you mentioned Drew Bledsoe, Chad. Unfortunately, too bad.
Did you get
autographed mini helmet of Drew Bledsoe himself?
Did you see there was some tweet where Brady tweeted about, hey, you young guys come in the NFL coming on the stretch, you get your opportunity, you capture it, you grab it, you don't let it go, you make a success out of it, blah, blah, blah. And then right underneath of it, a response from Bledsoe, shut the fuck up, Brady.
Yeah, I love that. I love their good-natured ribbing between Bledsoe and Brady. On the roast, Bledsoe was freaking awesome. He absolutely nailed that roast.
Here's the sad part is that I like Bledsoe. I think he's got a great personality, a lot of fun. But he actually thinks if they would have kept him on, that he would have won those 6 Super Bowls.
But
that's crazy.
No, it is. But here's the deal: you're an NFL quarterback. You got a little ego, a little swag to you. I mean, that's just in the nature. It's like a Navy fighter pilot. Are you the best pilot? Well, no, I think there's several other pilots. Bullshit. They're going, no, I am the best pilot. I prove. It's just
the Navy. The Navy doesn't have pilots; they have aviators.
Whatever.
So you better get your shit straight.
Yeah. Jesus. Every time.
Yeah, you can't be wrong around me because I'm never wrong.
Angel
The bottom
Navy.
line where we fight about everything. And that's the bottom line.
Anything else? He did get I think it was 3 years, $30 million. So he's not going to be poor. He's going to be.
Oh, I
okay.
thought he got a 5-year deal. It was only 3-year deal.
No, year, $30 million.
He may not be alive in 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, that 26-year-old girlfriend
Yeah.
might kill him.
Whew.
Yeah.
And Belichick's how old? 74?
74.
I was going to say he's 70. What is he? 70?
I thought he was 72. He's 74.
I thought 72, but it's 72.
I thought he was
or 74.
74. How old is he?
I don't know. Chad's looking up on the.
He's compared to a 26-year-old, he's real old.
Yeah.
How old is Bill Belichick?
The bottom line computer is
72
not
years old.
72. Yeah.
72. and,
72.
And 26.
Yeah, she's like 25 or 26, something like that.
She's. I mean,
Amanda
hey,
Amanda says she's 21, but she's over 21. Amanda.
yeah, she's old enough to be his granddaughter. He's
I was going to say, does she call him Pawpaw?
Yeah, she calls him.
Yeah,
Paul.
Amanda's not too
Papa,
good at.
Give it to me,
Amanda's
Papa.
not too good at ages. She still thinks she's 28. So
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I don't know. She's old enough to be his granddaughter. Whatever. Teach their own.
That
I'm
sounds
sure-
exhausting.
Yeah, it does.
That sounds good at all.
Like,
That
you want to go
sounds
out
good at all.
tonight? No, I want to go to my chair.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I want to go
So
sit
while
in my
we're
chair.
talking, while we're talking college and we're talking about the NIL, Brett sent me a couple spreadsheets yesterday showing the colleges and what they spent on the NIL. Let's put up the top 25. And
I do got to apologize for one again. Oregon was incorrect. It was updated by SI in August. I don't know why it was not updated on the NCAA site yet, but Oregon is at 23 million, which would be number one on this list right now.
so if you
Oregon's
move
got Nike
Oregon-
money, baby.
Yeah.
So if you move Oregon up to the top at 23 million, that's kind of surprising because, well, no, because they have the Nike
Oh yeah.
over, right?
Phil Knight, yeah.
Phil
And
Knight.
then it doesn't surprise me that Texas is next on the list. You're getting into some of that oil money. And I was kind of surprised at Texas A&M at first till I thought about the oil money. Then I thought, yeah, they probably would belong up on that list.
To be quite honest with you, I'm surprised. Sounds crazy, but when you move Oregon up there at 23 million plus, I'm surprised that it's as low as it is.
Yeah.
I would have thought Oregon with that, and listen, we sit here and we look at the numbers. In 5 years, those numbers are going to be triple.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be, if they don't do anything, it's going to be 60, $70 million.
Yep.
I mean, what is $23 million to Nike? Nothing. You know, and if Oregon doesn't get it done and he wants them to get it done, guess what? Here's
They
some
go
more
spend
money.
more.
Here's
Yeah.
some more money. And Texas is going to try to keep up. So here's some more money. A donor is going to step up in Georgia because we can't fall behind. And here's some more money. And here's some more money. I mean, it's going to get out of control. And I think what you're going to see more so, because right now college does not have a cap. You know, obviously when you look at those numbers and you see the disparity, you're really going to start to see the haves and the have-nots.
So this is the top 25. Let me pop up the 26 through 50 list, just so you can, if you don't see your favorite college there, maybe you'll see them on the next list. Here's 26 through 50. So North Carolina, of course, you can see they spent a little over $8 million. So they're going to more than double what they're going to put out.
Yeah, they're now up to 20, so they're top five.
Look at Nebraska. What a bunch of tightwads. They've got national championships, and they spent $400,000 more dollars than Iowa State. No wonder you guys are bad. Chad,
well,
what's going
we
on?
need to get in. We need to get into that Warren Buffett money.
Start sending some money to your favorite college team, Chad.
So this gives you a little idea of,
I was
you
State's a
actually
few spots below them there, buddy.
I'm
You
an alumni.
actually
I
see the
donate, so some of
numbers.
my money's in there.
you actually see the numbers above the table. This is probably about what was spent under the table in years past. So when you
Right?
So when you look at Ohio
So-
State, Michigan, and stuff forking out over $20 million a year for players,
So
you can see what kind of a disadvantage you're at when you got other Big Ten teams that are spending $5, $6, $7 million a year on their players.
So what does the NIL cover? Does that just cover the money the colleges are giving them? So then when Shedeur Sanders is doing all those KFC commercials and everything, that's not included in this, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's sponsorship deals.
Yeah, that's sponsorship deals between the player and whoever they're sponsoring. This is just money that the college
Wow.
doled out, divvied out, whatever. All that
You
other stuff is on
almost,
top of that.
So can now, since this is all here, so can now some booster just slide a kid a couple of $1 million under the table, and is that okay?
I don't think it is, but it probably is still happening. I don't know.
I still think, and I could be wrong, I still think that any type of
It's got to go through the collective.
money has to go through something. It has to be reported. It has to be something.
So he could have Tommy Johnson do a commercial for some business that he owns and then pay him $2 million
Or whatever he wants. Yeah.
Or whatever he wants.
whatever he wants.
But it has to be, it either has to be, and Brett, you may know this. Does it have to be reported to the school, or is there like a,
Each school has their own collective, and they've got their own names and it's its own entity through the school. I can't even. It's I mean, again, it is what it is. I need to, I guess, get more knowledge on it because I was one of the ones not in favor of it, and I mean, it's not going anywhere. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as you hate it, I think you'd know every in and out of it.
Yeah, you'd know every nook and cranny of the rules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be our guy, Brett.
Yeah, Brett.
I gotta believe that the first
And
thing
Ed's
they're
the
going to have to
accountant.
do to at least try and bring some sense of, I don't know, equality is not the right word because there'll never be equality, but the first thing they're going to have to probably try and tackle to get this NIL under control is they're going to have to institute some kind of salary cap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. I've heard discussed a plan. The entire athletic department gets a salary cap. So then if you got somebody like North Carolina, then you have to decide, are we spending more money on basketball or we're going to spend more money on football? What are we going to do? And then the other side of this is, okay, so then how much has to be dealt out to the female side and how much
You're right,
to the
Debbie.
male side?
Right.
You're right, Debbie. We
Debbie's
would
right.
we would have thought that Brett would have had the numbers for us, but
Debbie's in a chat with me every day, a SEC chat in our SEC group, and she knows how in favor of NIL I am. So she's probably not surprised by me not knowing all the ins and outs of it because she's probably listened to 50 rants about it. But
See that you just don't know enough. That's why you don't like it. So if you knew more,
there's a lot of reasons why I don't like it.
Well,
No,
I know one of the
you
main
just don't know
reasons. One of the main reasons that I know Brett and I have talked about is,
Yeah.
and I don't, I can't really defend. I can't really defend the one thing that you talked about was, now Alabama was better at their 2 deep than a lot of teams 1 deep was. Alabama has lost those layers.
But, which I told you I was in favor of more parity when it comes to that. these are 17, 18-year-old kids, and me and another guy in our SEC group, we argue about this at length. But they've earned it. They've earned it. I got a problem with that. You know, we all work hard at 17, 18, whether it was football, basketball, whatever. And to give these kids $500,000, $1 million in their own personal chef and their rental house, I got a problem with that. Have they really earned that?
It's called. No, I just kept trying to talk over you. Now I forgot what I was going to. Oh, market value. It's called market value. So what we don't think about here in the United States is this is the way it is around the world. So when you're a European teenage soccer player and you graduate from high school, you don't go on to college to play soccer. You go and become a professional. That's what you're going to do. And so then you start getting paid that money at 18 years old. Same with golf, same with all of it. All those European golfers that come over here, Justin Rose and the rest of them come over here at 18, 19 years of age. That's what they do.
Well, like I said, it's not going anywhere.
Back in the early 80s when I was a big Arkansas Razorback fan, when old Lou Holtz was still head coach at Arkansas, the old father of Birmingham Stallion coach Skip Holtz, he describes the difference in athletes from now to 50 years ago. He says, simple. Today's athletes talk about rights and privileges, and the players 50 years ago talked about obligations and responsibilities. Enough said.
Yep.
Bingo. But that's not just athletes. That's kids in general now.
Oh, 100%.
That's just where we're at as a society. You know, it's not just athletes.
Well, there's
totally different mentality now than 50 years, and you guys know that.
Yeah, the problem is one of the biggest things, and I would argue this is at every level from high school all the way up. There is 0 sense of loyalty for anything.
Right.
There's no, like you think back to, you know, the NFL of the 70s, 80s. I mean, guys like Walter Payton, you know, we're obviously Bears fans. Walter Payton is like on our Mount Rushmore.
Right.
Maybe of the entire NFL. We never had to watch Walter Payton play for anybody else.
Right.
Didn't want to play for anybody else. You know, think about how tough it was. Joe Montana plays most of his career for the 49ers. He was a 49er through and through. But the 49ers had to watch him play a couple years in Kansas City. You know what I mean? Yep. But players were loyal to their team until the team said, well, you know,
we're not loyal to you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem is the loyalty gap has just collapsed.
Well, it's just like, you know, I'm a big Lakers fan. You got Michael Jordan and you got Kobe Bryant. I'm sorry, LeBron. Kobe to me was, you know, Michael 2.0, although there's only one Michael.
Right.
LeBron, when you go bouncing from team to team and getting these players and I want you to come with me and you with me, and then you want to sit there and claim that you're the best player, that you're better than Michael Jordan. No, you're not. No, you're not.
I can.
You put a comment up there of Debbie's a little bit ago. If you want to put it back up there.
About
Debbie,
me slipping?
No. Where's the love of the game? Debbie, I understand what you're saying, and I miss those days. However, the NCAA and colleges and the networks created this monster that generates so much money, and these kids were getting none of it. And they weren't guaranteed to go on to the NFL and make millions of dollars, and they weren't guaranteed any of this. And I don't blame these guys. People are making millions of dollars off their blood, sweat, and tears. I think they should get something, They just need to have a better plan and control it. They do not control it, and there is no plan.
Well, that's the problem. We went from nothing to this and nothing in between. And you guys are right. As much as I don't like the NIL, the NCAA is really responsible for this.
Yeah.
You know, they've screwed up everything they've done pretty much in my lifetime. So, and here we are.
And yeah, and I think Ed's right, and Ed talked about salary cap. There's something needs to be done. You know, do I think that the kids deserve, like Chad was talking about? Absolutely. Do I think they deserve $400,000 a month, their own house and personal chef? No. So there's got to be something.
There's gonna have to be some kind of a rule put in place too, for whether it's how many times you can enter the transfer portal or whatever.
I think there is a limit. Isn't there?
Isn't it one transfer and then the second one, or is this maybe they've just talked about it? You get one, you enter the transfer portal once. But
Alexander's fixing to go to his 4th or 5th school. There's another guy that's been to 5 or 6 schools. Maybe y'all are talking about inside the conference. See, where this portal really got going was a guy by the name of Maurice Smith, cornerback for Alabama. The deal was, hey, you can transfer. You can load up and go play anywhere you want to, but you cannot transfer inside the SEC conference and play the next year. You got to sit out a year. And his mom and dad got involved, and attorneys involved, and this is this and this is that. You can imagine what all they said. And finally, Nick just said, screw it, and signed it. He was getting so much heat, he went ahead and signed it. And the boy went and played at Georgia, which, by the way, he didn't beat Alabama when we played each other. But and then the next year, the full portal opened. It opened a big can of worms that year.
So
I just Googled it, and it says, can a player transfer multiple times? Yes, college athletes can essentially transfer as many times as they want, as long as they are eligible.
Yeah, because the one-time transfer rule was eliminated in 2024. The only thing that was shortened was the window, 45 to 30 days.
Don't you guys think that, like how the SEC had it back before the portal, that, hey, you can transfer, go wherever you want to. But if you go transfer inside the conference and with these rivals, then you got to sit out a year. Now, if you transfer out of conference, you can play immediately. They've got to do something.
No, I don't agree with that, because the coaches can move to any of those schools they want to, and it doesn't matter.
What Albert says here.
Albert makes a good point, and I agree with what Albert is saying. But somehow or another, there has to be something put in place that you can have some degree of planning. I mean, when you can't go from one season to the next, even having a clue. I mean, your roster can be turned upside down every year.
Yeah.
How can you plan? How can you recruit for that?
Albert, I'm sorry, but that's why the quality of football, and excuse my language, has went to shit this year.
I thought I gotta say,
and we talked about that on our show before. When you've got 70 or 40 different guys going school to school, the quality of ball has went way down, in my opinion, in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I thought the quality of football went down this year, no doubt.
I know Matt Rule has said they're losing like 30 kids to the portal, 35 kids to the portal that are left before the Pitt Stripe Bowl. So,
I mean, look, the problem I've got with it, Albert, and I'm trying to put this in the tail is wagging the dog right now. These guys, and see, I know I'm very old school. I might be the youngest on the panel. I don't know, but I'm very old school. Ain't none of these guys been made to do nothing. Ain't none of these guys been forced to go and play football. Ain't none of these guys been forced to come to Alabama and get their $200,000 free scholarship and their free food and their free books and their free housing. That's a choice they made. And look, I think the stipend should have been quadrupled, honestly, because it was the same stipend it had been for 30 or 50 years, and that was unrealistic. But now we've went from my extreme, which nobody agrees with me, to over here. And this over here, I mean, even Saban has went before Congress since he retired at Bama. It's not sustainable. It's truly not. And even if you guys disagree with everything I'm saying, deep down, y'all know
But
where we're going is not sustainable.
right, but Brett, I would agree with you, Brett. I would agree with you 100%, if not for one thing. The NCAA and the sycophants in the NCAA are ciphering off billions of dollars
Yeah.
from college football and
Yeah.
athletics in general, and then telling these kids, hey, you're getting a $200,000 scholarship, you're getting free food, and you're getting all this. I mean, yes, you are right. They're receiving that. And,
Right.
and you know, not all college athletes go on to the NFL.
Right. 1.9%, I believe.
My thought process should have went to this. Had the NCAA been taking, some of those billions and kicking them back at a more substantial rate to the universities so they could improve facilities, they could improve this, maybe they could do a little bit more for football players or basketball, whatever we're talking about. They could have maybe stemmed this call to arms, and then we wouldn't have had the nil and all this crap, happen the way they did.
Yeah.
You're right.
The NBA definitely mishandled it. Yeah.
I say the same thing with NFL players that want to stand up there and say, I got all sorts of head trauma and stuff for playing football. Well, I mean, okay, and I feel bad for you as a human being, but if all of us on this panel played football, did not all of us experience getting hit in the head and seeing stars? And I think we all understood that playing football was dangerous. I think we all understood that the hits that we were taking to our head were probably not good for us. And, you were getting paid to play in the NFL. You knew the risks. It'd be like me saying, man, I joined the military. I had to go to war and I lost my leg and now it's somebody's fault. I think we all know the risks of the things that we do.
Right.
So those arguments, while sad and tragic, I mean, Dave Duerson, us three know who Dave Duerson is.
Yeah.
That's a tragic thing. But
Mark Gastineau.
Yes, it's hard. I feel bad, but at the same time, you understood. You had to have.
Yeah.
That this is a violent game and that there's potential for that. It's the same way.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about Albert's comment, and he was right. Coaches can up and leave and all that, but there's buyouts. And these are 3 and 5 year contracts too. These guys. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but isn't this a yearly thing? Like they have to renegotiate. Is that right or no, guys? To where they got to renegotiate the NILs each year? Because I've heard Gundy and Brian Kelly and a lot of coaches mention that. Are these kids not able to sign 3 and 4 year deals?
Yeah, but do we reach a point with the NIL where instead of it being a yearly thing, we make players enter into contracts, and now they're 2-year, 3-year contracts that you make them sign? I mean, that's one way.
They're employees. They're getting paid. They want to get paid.
You want a big nil deal? Then you're going to be at Alabama for 3 years.
Yeah.
You want a big nil? You want this nil deal? Then you're going to be the quarterback here for 3 years. You're ours then.
I would
just like in the NFL.
We're
paying you. You're ours.
It's going to have to be that way.
100%. And one of you guys may know, Chad, Brett, Ed, whatever, and Chad or Brett, probably you. Was it Arkansas lost 25 guys to the portal so far? Was that Arkansas?
I think it is Arkansas. There's quite a few. Everybody was hammering on Bama because they were waiting around to see if we made the playoffs, and I think we had about 8 in there. And I said, guys, that ain't even close. And I got to looking at the list as of yesterday, and we were about mid-pack or lower mid-pack. There's supposed to be 15 to 18,000 guys in the transfer portal this year out of 852 teams of Division 1, 2, 3, 8, 12, that's it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's about 17 per team. Guys, that's just to me, it's just not reality. It's silly. I know why the players are doing it, and I don't blame them. But that's why we need to have rules and regulations in place to where this can't happen year
Right.
after year after year.
Albert, on your statement here, we've talked about this at length. We firmly believe that this is going to happen.
Yep, you're right, Albert.
The NCAA is trying to hold on. I mean, we've talked at length about this. I firmly believe that at some point in time here in the not so distant future, you're going to have a whole separate deal for college football for sure. And I don't know what kind of domino effect that starts, but it's definitely I think it's definitely going to happen.
It's just bad though for all of us old school guys that grew up, knowing who was coming back next year. Oh man, we really got a shot at the conference championship. We got this guy and this guy. He's sophomore, junior. Man, it's just. I'm sorry. I know I'm a killjoy, but it's just not the same to me as it used to be.
Right.
It's not. It's just not.
Nebraska's going to lose between 30 and 50 players to the transfer portal.
Yeah, I hadn't even mentioned it to you, Eric, because I keep up with it daily, and between Nebraska and Arkansas, I mean, it's every other post. I'm like, good God. I mean, I don't know how y'all are going to field a team.
Yeah. We better move on to our picks, but I want to answer this question from Mike. I have a good question. Why at the college level do they teach them to get 1 foot in bounds to be called a good catch inbounds? But when they get to the NFL, they got to have both feet on. So why do we teach them 1 foot when they're preparing to go to the NFL? Well,
great question.
I mean, it is a great question, but I think I can. I mean, and
they're different games.
They're different games, and yes, for the guys that go on to the NFL, their feeling is they're going to make the adjustment to get both feet in, and we see that. I mean, we see wide receivers in the NFL make amazing catches all the time, toe taps, the drag, all that kind of stuff. They were once college receivers that only had to get one in. You got to remember, a lot of these receivers that we watch on Saturdays will never watch on Sundays. So, the expectation of, maybe it's a little thing, but I know that's why they do it. The expectation that, all these college receivers, you look at how many plays in college, there's no way the receiver gets 2 feet down. Well, that's an incomplete pass then in the NFL. If you do that in college, you're going to slow the game down until they make the adjustment out. I mean, I don't see the need for it. They're two different games, like Chad said. I don't see the need for it. And
Mike, there are so many different rules between college and pro. I mean, people got all confused because Jared Goff, an offensive lineman, steps on his foot, trips, and falls, and he hands the ball off while his knee is down, and everybody's screaming, freaking out, saying he's down. This isn't college. He's not down.
Yeah, he ain't down.
College has that have that rule for a reason because in the turn of the 20th century, kids died.
Yeah,
and that was one of the ways they died was when they fell down and tried to get up. People jumped on them. I mean, college football came this close to extinction in the early 20th century because so many players were dying.
Yeah.
It's a totally different game.
Iowa State Stadium, named after Jack Trice, the first African-American player to play at Iowa State, died, I think, 2 days after the game with Minnesota. In a situation like that.
Yeah, he got beat to death or something like that, right?
In the game, yeah, he got pummeled.
Yeah. Oh, in the game.
Yeah, in the game, yeah. In the game, he got pummeled in the game.
And get that damn dog down.
It's trying to move us on.
It's time to get on to our picks to end the college segment. So we have a whole whopping 1 game to pick for college this week.
And here it is.
Before we do the game, just to let you know that yours truly is still the top dog here with a 3-game lead over Eric and 4 games over Chad.
And a bunch over me.
You'll get to 100 sometime, buddy.
The only game of the week, we have 8-3 Navy playing number 22 Army, who is 11-1. And I've even heard rumblings on Facebook this week of Army fans that are upset that they did not get an invite to the CFP.
You really want? I have seen that, and I have responded to some of those. You
Let's
sure you
not
want to
talk
open
about
that?
it. Let's not talk about it. Let's just pick the game.
So I will, me and my pet big dog here, we're going to go with Army.
I'm going with Army too.
I'm going with Army. Old infantryman right here. United States Army. Let's go.
Go Army beat Navy. My brother was in the Army for 6 years, stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Lawton.
My dad's 20 years retired from the Army, so I have watched these games religiously every year.
Vietnam
That's
vet,
fun.
right?
They're fun.
Two tours in Vietnam. Grandpa was there twice.
Oh.
So let's go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time to turn to the NFL. We will be right back. So we almost had a clean sweep for Army because we even had John, Debbie, Chris,
Albert went
Henry,
midshipman.
Mike.
Ooh, we got a Navy pick.
Yeah, we had one lone Navy pick, Albert.
Nope, got two. Oh no, he voted twice.
Yeah,
No.
he saw that he was being outnumbered, so he had to put it on there
He
twice.
had to throw it up there twice.
You know, my grandpa served on a submarine in World War II, and a couple of years ago, my sister,
Your grandpa was tough SOB. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know him. I'm telling you right now.
So that submarine that he served on is down in Mobile, Alabama, and it's part of a museum, and you can go and tour it. And my sister and myself and our cousin went down, and my cousin, I'm 6'2", my cousin's like 6'3.5", and my grandpa was like 5'7".
Yeah, he had to be.
Yeah,
I
we walked through there. We're going through there, and I turned around and I looked at my cousin and I go, "Oh my God, Grandpa was so tiny."
Yeah.
He was the cook. So we went by the kitchen, and the kitchen is just this little teeny tiny tunnel.
Yeah,
And
when we were in Oahu, we went and toured, Pearl Harbor and everything, and they have the USS Bowfin there. We walked through it. I'm 6'3". There could not have been too many 6'3" submariners.
No, when you walk through the sleeping quarters of those things, it's like you're literally laying right next to the guy.
He slept on top of a torpedo. That was his bed. He had a mat that he put on top of a torpedo, and he climbed up on it, and that's where he slept.
Good. I don't know your grandpa. Tough SOB.
Oh, yes, he was.
I don't need to know him. I don't need to know him. That's crazy because, like I said, I've been through one. Everything is just.
Oh, it's so small.
Oh,
it's tiny. Everything's so tiny.
It is absolutely awful.
So to kick off the NFL segment, the first hot topic we're going to hit. Unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you know that Minnesota is off to a good start at 11-2.
Who?
In fact,
I think they need to give him a 6-year deal.
Yeah.
So,
You might as well toot it again because they're going to beat the Bears. Go ahead and toot it again.
so,
$290 million.
so here's the question. They finally get out from underneath Kirk Cousins. 50 million or 55 whatever million he was making, and they finally got the luxury of a rookie contract. And then the rookie gets hurt and gets put on the shelf, and they bring in Sam frickin' Darnold and pay him a whopping $10 million 1-year
You
contract.
better put some respect on that name.
Yeah,
Well,
you should.
needless to say, it's probably
hell?
overperformed that $10 million contract. So the heat's been turned up on Minnesota to make a decision and extend Sam frickin' Darnold. There is a couple different things they can do. If they were to franchise tag him, they said that it would be a 1-year deal worth approximately $40 million.
Ooh.
Which, in the grand scheme of things in today's world, $40 million for a quarterback would not be the end of the world. But what?
Please make this happen. I pray to you, Lord Jesus, make this happen.
Hey, it will be posted on the bottom line the minute it hits. 4 year, $250 million.
Yep,
As
fully guaranteed.
as a 50-year plus Vikings fan, who's waited patiently for years,
Wearing a
to be able
30-year-old
to
jersey.
put a team together with a rookie contract, I am still under the belief that they roll the dice with J.J. McCarthy next year. And I vote that they franchise tag Mr. Darnold because there is a team out there that would trade for him. And so you could get maybe a second-round pick from somebody in a trade.
Somebody's smoking left-handed cigarettes.
Oh my God! Everything that's coming out of your mouth right now. Keep going. I'm not going to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I got to take a emergency call, guys. I'll be right back.
As we sit here today, you're telling me right now that franchise tagging the guy for $40 million would be a bad idea?
No, here's what I'm telling you.
You trying to get a second-round pick out of him. That's what's crazy.
That's the crazy part.
Now, do you don't think there isn't a team out there that would give a second-round pick for him?
No. And here, let me tell you what the Vikings need to do. This is exactly what the Vikings need to do. This is what I wish the Bears had the luxury to do. You know what I wish right now? I wish the Bears were sitting in a situation where they found – I'm not saying Sam Darnold, but they found a Sam frickin' Darnold where we thought it was all going to blow up in our face, and the Bears were sitting at 11-2 right now with Caleb Williams sitting on the bench learning for somebody who's been in the league for a while. I have wanted this situation forever. Do you know why? Because the hated Green Bay Packers have been able to do it forever, almost my entire lifetime. It's a blueprint that they have shown that has worked. What happens is these rookie quarterbacks, you got J.J. McCarthy who blew his knee out. How do you know what he looks like when he comes back? Are you willing to risk the Vikings' future on maybe J.J. McCarthy comes back 100%? Maybe he can throw the ball even though he didn't have to at Michigan? Like, are you willing? To me, this is what I think they need to do. They need to sign Sam Darnold to no less than a 2-year contract. 2 years. Well, or more, but at least a 2-year contract. And I'm not, I know you want more because you think he's going to collapse. But let's say he doesn't collapse, but you do believe J.J. McCarthy is your future. This does one. Next year, you come back and you say, okay, looks like J.J. McCarthy's ready to go. You know, the knee looks good. Everything's great. You run him through everything. He gets to sit behind Sam Darnold for a year. Year 2 runs around. Now you could say, well, you know, JJ's ready, JJ's not, but we have Sam Darnold. You're not rushing the young kid. I am not as faith-based in McCarthy as you are. I'm
It's
not.
It's not that I am faith-based in JJ McCarthy, but you got Addison. You got Addison. He's gonna need a contract. How many teams that have?
I keep
rookie
going. We're just
contracts-
laughing. Keep going.
Yeah, you're so full of shit.
Like, I
I
don't know.
would
if anybody-
rather put the money into the team at skill positions and keep beefing up the roster. And that's what a rookie contract gives you the ability to do.
This is from the guy who offered to pay the Vikings $500 to come up and let him wipe JJ McCarthy's butt every time he took a shit.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Oh, JJ McCarthy's good cock of the world.
Yeah, we're gonna-
I'm not that big of a JJ McCarthy, believe me.
I'm not. Yes. Here. Ed, this is my question for you. Other than draft, other than where he came from, why do you have faith that if you're able to sign all these other guys and you have Jefferson, Addison, Jones in the backfield, what makes you think JJ McCarthy is going to be good enough to even orchestrate that? What leads you to believe that? Or are you just saying the quarterback's going to be cheap for 4 years?
Well, let's see. Kevin and didn't he take a Dobbs off? I mean, basically Dobbs was dog meat, and he at least brought him in. He was viable for a week.
Yeah, and then he threw 4 picks against the Bears.
No, Kevin O'Connell, I think, has shown that he is an offensive mind enough that he can make quarterbacks productive. Now, I've thought about Darnold versus rookie contract forever. So a
He's
1-year
stretching
deal is the thing is Darnold is finally
Swimming.
he's going to want to strike while the iron's hot. And so the only way he signs a 1-year deal probably is a franchise tag situation, because if I'm him, and I know there's a handful of teams out there, and there is, the Raiders, the Saints need a quarterback. I mean, there's several teams out there that are probably going to offer more than a 1-year deal. So
And I do agree with you that I think they should franchise tag him. I to be serious for a moment here and not just tease you relentlessly, I believe that they should franchise tag him and have him next year to make sure that JJ can come back. And if it goes really well and he takes them to deep in the playoffs or Super Bowl or whatever, then they can do what they want to do from there. Maybe trade McCarthy and move on. I don't know, but can he get a contract someplace? You bet. Sam Darnold off of this year is going to be able to get a contract someplace and get some serious money. However, you're not going to get a 2nd-round pick out of him. You're just not.
Hey. That's what McCarthy is. It's living on a prayer, dude. I'm telling you. I agree. I agree completely with what Chad just said. I don't think Minnesota can run the risk of believing that JJ McCarthy comes off the knee, let Sam Darnold walk, as Albert said, or I think it was Albert. Didn't they sign Daniel Jones?
yeah,
Do you want to take a chance?
Albert,
of Darnold walking
the
out-
only reason they signed Daniel Jones was strictly for an insurance policy for this year.
Okay.
He's sitting on the practice squad learning the Viking playbook. He is there as an insurance policy in case Darnold gets hurt. But otherwise, Daniel Jones is gone after this year. They paid him a whole whopping $375,000 to tuck him away on the practice squad. and that's all he is an insurance policy.
Sam is sub 30, so he's 27 years old. He won't be 28 until June. So
He's got 10 years in him. Yeah, I mean, if he pans out, he's got 10 years in him.
Yeah, I think you should give him a 10-year deal.
Well,
$500 million
no,
fully guaranteed.
Listen. Let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic. Sam Darnold got drafted by the Jets. Total disaster. Sam Darnold's fault? No, the Jets are a dumpster fire. They've proved it. He goes to Carolina. Total disaster. Darnold's fault? Carolina's a dumpster fire. Now, Bryce Young seems to be either woke up or is playing better, whatever. But when Darnold was there, dumpster fire. Goes to San Francisco. Sits behind Brock Purdy. I think Sam Darnold had an epiphany when he was in San Francisco. I think Sam Darnold said to himself, holy crap, this is what offensive coaching, this is really awesome. And he had, and with his own words, he had a great time in San Francisco, even though he was a backup. Now that he's in Minnesota and he has led if you'd have told me at the beginning of the season, Sam Darnold was going to be the starting quarterback for Minnesota the entire year and they were going to be sitting at 11-2, I'd have said you're crazy. But you know what? No, he didn't. He was panicky. Sam freaking Darnold is what he coined. So don't tell me he told me that. What I'm saying is maybe after the trials and tribulations that Sam Darnold has gone through, and then his time in San Francisco, and now him proving it in Minnesota, maybe this is the Sam Darnold that the Jets thought they were drafting. And maybe Minnesota, something the Bears could never do, has stumbled across a diamond in the rough that they thought was going to be just a whatever guy, a backup, well, he's here today, gone tomorrow. Maybe they've stumbled across something. Maybe this isn't something that Minnesota needs to be looking at saying, oh, Sam Darnold's a Band-Aid until JJ. Maybe they ought to be paying a little more attention to Sam Darnold. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe they ought to be looking at Sam Darnold more as a future guy, a 3, a 4, a 5-year guy. Then we got to hurry up and get Sam Darnold the hell out of here because we got J.J. McCarthy. What has J.J. McCarthy proven in the NFL? 0.
Ed,
Sam Darnold is 11-2 with this team that Ed is talking about. Are you seriously willing to take that and punt it to think J.J. McCarthy can do the same? Because Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. I don't buy it.
Well, that's why.
Ed, I've got
worst case scenario. You franchise tag him.
Ed, in my pocket, I have a bag. Don't tell anybody. Of magical beans, and I am willing to sell them to you, nobody else. And believe me, you want these magical beans. They're going to change your life, and all it's going to cost you is everything you have. That's it.
Yeah.
This is going to be so much better. This magical beans I've got.
Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you.
Ed, they should franchise tag him.
For sure.
Two-year deal might not be a bad idea, but I think they're going to have a tough time doing that because I think somebody's stupid like the Saints or the Raiders are probably willing to pony up more than that. So,
I mean, Albert says it right here,
maybe,
and I agree with him.
Yeah,
maybe I should be having this conversation with Albert because you Chicago Bear Ding Dong fans want to just sit there and joke.
No, listen, everything I said to you was 100% serious. Now, his bean thing, that was hilarious because the beans in his example are J.J. McCarthy. Everything you own is Sam Darnold, and I agree with him. His analogy, while hilarious, to me is exactly how I would be thinking if Sam Darnold came to the Bears. And I'm not saying but if we had a rookie quarterback and he got hurt and Sam Darnold comes in, the Bears are sitting 11-2 right now. You know what I'm saying? We got to sign this guy to at least a couple years. whatever he's willing to agree to, because he has proven that he can, with the team that we have, he's proven himself. I know he's Sam Darnold, and before the year we made fun of it. We were having a great time with it, and so are you. But my God, man, what does he have to prove to Viking fans to say, I'm your dude? It's my question to you, Ed. What does he have to prove to you guys, other than you have the Sam Darnold in your mind that of the past? What's he have to prove to you guys?
I don't have as much Sam Darnold of the past in my mind as you guys do.
You keep calling him Sam frickin' Darnold.
You coined that, Ed.
And that's my trademark for him.
Oh my!
But Albert's right. Darnold is gelling extremely well with the Minnesota receiving core.
Yep.
Why do you want to mess with that?
Yep.
Albert's he's on point there. He has. So why mess with that? You know, sometimes second and third chance in the NFL pan out pretty well. Look at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was left for dead.
Yep.
Those slippers are kind of falling off.
He don't have anybody to throw the ball to.
It's
He's got
the
Mike
problem.
Evans. He's got
Tampa,
Tate
but
Ogden.
Tampa Bay. I don't know. I'd take Baker.
Keep in mind, I mean, Cleveland is where quarterbacks go to die. He had no chance going to Cleveland.
What about the Jets?
Yeah.
Carolina.
What about
Carolina?
Yeah,
What
or
about
Chicago. Like, you know, it's like you can't fault Darnold for being at the Jets in Carolina. I mean, that's fine. Whatever the Minnesota does, I hope it's wrong because they're in our division.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, Darnold has earned it.
Yeah.
Darnold
What's the next up?
has earned
Well,
it.
he's made
Now,
it
listen,
well known that he wants to stay in Minnesota. That's for sure.
staying with this, and Albert has 100% led us into another topic that we had up there. I'm starting to think that the Atlanta Falcons are a dumpster fire. Albert must be some kind of soothsayer because this is a topic that we had. Kirk Cousins, is it time?
It's Penix time.
We've seen two quarterbacks.
Hammer time.
Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers suffer Achilles injuries.
Old
And we
man.
have seen the seasons that they have put together this year.
Was
I mean-
was the 4-year contract that they gave Kirk Cousins? Is that all guaranteed?
I think 100 was it 100? Was it
It was 180 million for 4 years.
wasn't 100 million of it guaranteed? At least 100 million of it was guaranteed, I believe. I think it was 160 million and 100 of it was guaranteed.
How'd you like to be Atlanta? They're almost like Denver when they have to give Russell Wilson 85 million over a 2-year period.
I'm going to tell you this right.
Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, $180 million contract, but only half of that is guaranteed. In actuality, that makes it a 2-year deal, $90 million contract with $45 million team option for the 3rd year and 4th year.
Okay.
Doesn't say anything about how much. Only half of that is. I don't know how much of that first 2 years is guaranteed.
Cousins has had one hell of an agent. You got to give him credit.
Oh, that dude has made, he's like top 10 in career earnings in the NFL. That dude
You like
has
that?
a genius
You like
for an
that?
agent. You like that?
Yeah.
I do like that.
He stroked Washington for years on 1-year deals before he ever come to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, that was their own fault. Washington kept doing that. That was right.
Hey, just for a little sidebar on our previous conversation, Chad, Mike chimes in, Mayfield is number 2 in fantasy points for QBs. You should know that because you're a huge fantasy guy. I'm just saying. Anyway, on to Cousins. Cousins, man, he looks really old. Whatever mobility he had in Minnesota is completely gone.
Well, they said he's kind of turned into, he's kind of noodle arm. He just doesn't have any oomph on his passes anymore.
I've heard that as well. But here's the deal. In the NFL, now Peyton Manning got away with it, but Peyton Manning was a shell of himself the last 2 years in Denver. I see Kirk Cousins the same way. Kirk Cousins drops back and he stands on an X. If they can't keep guys away from that X, he is dead. Dead. And
same with Rodgers, and Rodgers had great footwork in the pocket, but
yeah.
Baker Mayfield in one of my fantasy football leagues is sitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 behind Geno Smith and Dak Prescott. So I don't know.
The point system in the league that he's referring to.
No, that's not that league. That's a different league.
Mike, I hope you didn't steer me wrong. You should have known that Chad was going to go right onto the computer. Come on, Mike. You can't be doing that.
Mike is also smoking the left-handed cigarettes.
Mike, I need some numbers here, dude. Got to have numbers here. But anyway,
I mean, I had that. I when I had that foot surgery, they had to tear my Achilles, and I was 40. And look, I don't play football, and I'm here to tell you, it's never the same. Once you get that older, it's never the same.
Yeah,
I know he's had a lot better doctors than myself, I'm sure. Although I was at UAB, yeah.
So do you guys think it's Penix time? Think they should start Penix?
Yeah.
What about you?
They can't. Here's the deal: you're not going anywhere with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback in Atlanta. And Albert says watching him and Kyle Pitts on the field is like watching an episode of Beavis and Butthead. You're not going anywhere. That's hilarious, Albert. By the way, well played. But you're not going anywhere. So what is the point? I know you're paying Cousins a crap load of money, and I know, the coach came out and gave Kirk Cousins he's our quarterback,
Right.
But here's the deal. Maybe they see it's a sinking ship. They keep Cousins out there because maybe they don't believe Penix. They don't want Penix to get shell shocked. Maybe that's
they're only a game out of the division, so Tampa's only got them by a game.
Correct, but they're not going anywhere.
I know, but that's what they think.
No, right.
We still can win the division. We can still. Kirk's going to turn it around. We're going to win the division.
Yeah, you're right.
Throw it to Kyle Pitts. We're going to win the division.
Yeah, but they're definitely dead in the water. Atlanta's in a tough spot. I mean, we talked about it on the show.
I don't think they're in a tough spot. I think you come up with some excuse. You say Kirk Cousins has a bruised shoulder or whatever it is you want to do.
Right.
And you put Penix in there and put the kid sat for 13 weeks. What the hell?
But don't you think?
What are you going to do? Lose? You're going to lose?
Right. But don't you guys think this? I'm a firm believer in this, and maybe I'm crazy. I think it's better with the way the NFL is, like a J.J. McCarthy. The speed of the game is different.
Yeah.
You're looking across at all NFL players on that defense. The schemes, the coverages, all those types of things are more advanced in the NFL. Don't you think it's better for a rookie quarterback to get a year, 2,
sure,
3?
But
I know. So if you're Atlanta,
the stakes are too high.
It is, but aren't the stakes high on the other side too? What if you put him in there, and I know this is all hypothetical, what if you put him in there and he's not ready for the game? Brett and I have talked at length about Caleb Williams. Is he going to be shell-shocked? Is he shell-shocked to where it's hurting his game because he's trying to have eyes in the back of his head, the side of his head, on his shoulder? I mean, like,
that's because he needs to get the ball out of his hands, throw the damn ball. He's holding on to it too long. But I don't want to get into this conversation.
Right, we've already had this conversation.
Michael Penix, was he the pick or not? Is he going to be the guy or not? He's had 13 weeks to sit around and watch and learn and do all that good stuff. It's time to put up or shut up. What do you got? Time to start learning it now. When's he going to learn it now or 2 years from now? You want him to learn it now at this point. I don't know.
I mean, I saw a couple passes that Cousins threw this past weekend, and it almost looked like he threw it left-handed. He had nothing on the ball.
He can't.
That's what Ed alluded to that they said they think he's got noodle arm or something's going on there.
Well, he can't push off that leg. That's where all the drive comes from.
Yeah.
So I think good, bad, or other for Penix. I think Cousins' time is pretty much over. Next topic.
Okay.
Let's see. Anybody in the chat say it's over? Yep, Albert, it's Penix time. Next year, though. He said it's Penix's time next year.
What's the point?
Yeah,
We're 4 games from next year.
Yeah, I agree. Next topic. Do we have trouble in Philly 2.0?
Leave it to Philly to win 9 games in a row, and they're complaining about it. Go ahead.
Ed, is it trouble in Philly 2.0 in your opinion?
Yeah, I was watching the Speak today, and Keyshawn Johnson was trying to defend A.J. Brown and say that it made perfect sense and that Philly needed to change their offense to accommodate. He said out of the first 12 plays that they run this weekend, at least 6 to 8 need to be going to A.J. Brown or something like that. And I'm like, you've got a winning formula that you've won 9 in a row. Why do you have to change anything?
That's the wide receiver in him. To throw me the damn ball. I'm always open. That's the me mentality.
So then when they focus on A.J. Brown and they throw him 8 targets in the first 12 plays, whatever, then what happens to Devontae Smith?
Yep.
Does he get upset then because nobody's throwing him the ball? I mean,
and then you got the reason why you're winning 9 games in a row. Saquon Barkley sitting in the backfield going,
I'm a blocker now.
Give me the ball.
Yeah.
We win when you give me the ball.
I mean, Philly.
I mean, again, what is their record?
They're just like the Vikings.
11-2. 9-game winning streak.
They're definitely them and Detroit's the Super Bowl favorite right now, and just shut up and just keep winning. Just play ball. What are we even talking about?
Well, I did see. I think it was a breakdown. I was watching one of the shows earlier.
The passing stats are terrible.
Well, I was watching I don't know what show it was. They showed a breakdown. Jalen Hurts, if you look at the breakdown, he's missing a lot of open guys.
Yeah.
And A.J. Brown happens to be that open guy. 2 examples they gave.
Why do you think Tua took his job? And I love Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen, but Tua took his job for a reason.
In the coverage, it was zone coverage. A.J. Brown was in the inside slot. He ran a deep out route or a deep, call it a flag route. And he is wide open, and Jalen Hurts threw a flat pass for 4 yards. That was one example. Another example was he was the outside receiver. They had the slot receiver inside of him. AJ comes from the outside. The slot receiver and AJ goes in. Slot receiver goes out. AJ has nobody within 6 yards of him. Jalen could have thrown a grenade at him, and it's a touchdown. He didn't throw it. So now I'm not going to side with a diva receiver. However, there is evidence that either Jalen Hurts is missing you can't miss A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown should be, as a quarterback, your initial. Right. Then I'm going to dump it off to Barkley in the flat, or I'm going to go to my second read. But why is he not doing that? How is he missing A.J. Brown?
Bro, I've told y'all, I've seen this movie before. He's Milroe. Milroe is Jalen Hurts 2.0. He is.
Yeah.
Listen,
I don't know.
Here's the last 5 games. Carolina last weekend, 14-21 for 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, passer rating 110, QBR 71. Baltimore, that was a win, by the way. Baltimore, which you guys love. You take Baltimore oil and you rub it all over yourselves and just think how great Baltimore is. Baltimore, they beat him. He goes 11-19 for 118 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Rating 93.8, QBR 53.3. The Rams, the Red Hot Rams, he beats them 15-22, 179 for 179, 1 touchdown, no picks. Rating 108, QBR 75. I mean, they're sure it's not like he's throwing for 35%. It's not like he's throwing 50 picks. Saquon Barkley is running like a man possessed and using that best offensive line in the league. They're killing people.
So you got
they have a great defense. They got a great defense. They're leaning on it. They had a whole crap defense last year. This year, that defense is 180 degrees different, and they're killing people.
So you got Jalen Hurts that's scored 9 touchdowns of 1 yard. That you don't hear Saquon bitching about the fact that he didn't get those 9 touchdowns.
That's right.
Nope.
That's right.
That's an excellent point, Ed.
Here's the devil's advocate, and this can happen anytime. Of course, we know that. We've talked about this with Derrick Henry in Baltimore. What happens if Saquon Barkley gets injured? And we've been leaning so heavily on him. He gets injured. AJ Brown's, like AJ said, he goes, he didn't even have a touch in the first half in the last game, I believe. Not even a target.
Okay, so I would put that on the O coordinator. I wouldn't put that on Jalen Hurts.
Correct. But what he's getting at is, and what I was getting at was when AJ Brown is open 25 yards down the field with nobody around him, I'm as a quarterback, that's my guy. I've got to try to get the ball to him at some point. To not even do that, and AJ Brown's trying to get in the game in the third quarter before he even has his first target. I get what he's saying there. I don't like the way he said it. And I agree with you, Chad. The offensive coordinator needs to make sure that that's a priority to get his guys touches early, to get him in the game, to get him in the flow. But he did call plays where A.J. Brown is wide open twice. And I would argue that flag route he ran in between the zone was going to be a touchdown, and Jalen's not getting it to him. So I'm not defending the diva receiver. I'm not a big fan of diva receivers. We've talked about that at length on the show. But if they're gonna be a Super Bowl team, you're one knee twist away. You're one shoulder. You're one something away with Saquon Barkley. Ugh, like
here's
Saquon's special, but their offensive line, you would still have a good running game. You wouldn't have a Saquon Barkley running game, but still.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. He's passed 21, 19, 22, 28, and 20 times. If something happens to Saquon, there's no reason he can't throw 40, 45 times a game. And then they're right back to where they were. The winning ball game. How would you like for the Bears to be 11-2 right now and on a 9-game winning streak? Would you be bitching?
No, not at all. And like I said, I'm not defending the diva receiver for that. I'm just saying I can understand.
Only Philly could be complaining about a 9-game winning streak.
Right.
So tell me this, Chad. You was talking about how many passes Jalen has been throwing these last few games. When they started the season 2-2, what was Jalen's pass attempts the first 4 weeks?
Ooh, that's a good question. How do I find that?
I do know. I remember the Monday night game against the Falcons where they were killing them on the ground. And after the third possession, all they did was start throwing it.
I would be willing to bet that Jalen threw a lot more.
First game he threw 34. Second game, and they won. Second game he threw 30. They lost. He throws 38, they win. He throws 30, they lost. 25, 14, 20, 24, 20, 28, 22, 19, and 28. All wins.
So the more he throws the ball, they went 2-2 when he threw the ball the most.
Yeah, 30 times
they
enough.
And when they went more conservative and relied on the run game, they're 9-0. So how can you lose all arguments on the AJ Brown argument of needing to throw the ball more?
Are you talking to me or Chad?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the argument of Philly.
Should they be trying to get the ball to AJ Brown more?
Right, well, here's so this is what I would say to Ed's point that he just said. That actually proves my point that if Jalen has to throw the ball more, Philly's more in trouble. But what I'm saying is, if Saquon Barkley goes down, I mean, is Philly cooked? Is Philly cooked? If you're not going to, in some of these games, be trying to get the ball to AJ Brown, especially when he's open, if Saquon goes down, is Jalen just all of a sudden going to be able to turn it up and find AJ Brown? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not a Philly fan, so it is what it is. But like Ed said, when he has to throw the ball more, they're cooked. Saquon goes down saying, well, he can throw the ball 45 times. Does that mean the Eagles going to win? I don't think so. I don't trust Jalen throwing the football.
Albert makes a great point when he says Hurts is getting a taste of what Donovan McNabb experienced. Donovan McNabb couldn't win with the Philly fan base either.
No.
5 straight NFC Championship games.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, they booed Santa Claus. They had their own jail in their stadium. I mean, I hate to be a jerk because I know Jay watches the show, but I don't care who wins the Super Bowl as long as it's not Kansas City or Philadelphia. I don't care. Their fans are dreadful.
Back in the old vet, I don't know if they have it in this stadium, but in the old vet, they had a courtroom in the basement of the stadium.
Yes.
They had a judge sitting there, and the judge would send them to jail right there at the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been to Philly. My brother's adopted the Philadelphia team, want me to go to Philly. And I said, I ain't going up there to that. No.
I have been to a Phillies game. I've been to a Phillies game.
Philadelphia Phillies.
That was bad enough. I can't imagine what it would be like in a football stadium.
No.
Them ain't your Yankees, Brett?
Huh?
Them ain't your Yankees, Philly? Not your kind of Yankees?
No. No. And I know Jay watches the show all the time. And Jay, you're fantastic. We love you. Thank you for letting us post in your group. But your fans are a bunch of assholes. They are the LSU of the NFL. And I know I've got LSU fans watching. Sorry, just being honest.
Okay. Off of Philly. We'll see what happens.
We probably need to go to the important thing that we kind of left off to begin with. You know, usually when we talk NFL, we start off with the important things.
Oh, your power rankings? Oh.
Yeah.
We got right into the hot topics and forgot about your power rankings. That'll be 15 minutes.
So here it is, power rankings for week 15. I kind of feel like now that I made this out, I kind of feel like Buffalo giving up. What did they give up? 44 points to the Rams.
Yep.
A lot.
I kind of feel like I was a little easy on them. I flip-flopped them with Philadelphia and dropped them to number 3, but I almost I guess I just kept looking at the Chiefs sitting in the 4-hole thinking the Chiefs just lost to the Bills, so I just couldn't bring myself to put the Bills back ahead.
I would have put the Bills at 5, Ed. I know you don't want to move your Vikings up, but I would have put the Bills at 5 after what I saw Sunday. They couldn't stop LA with a shotgun.
If I went strictly by record, I would, I kept thinking, God, do I move Minnesota up? But then in my heart of hearts, I keep saying to myself, can't do it. So It's Green Bay's got an interesting game coming up this weekend too. They're going to Seattle. Seattle's hot right now. Minnesota goes to Seattle right after Green Bay. Well, Seattle's got a couple games in a row there that they're going to get tested. We'll find out what they're made of. What do you guys
go from one week to the other with Seattle? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't talk about a roller coaster.
What are you guys thinking about the Detroit Lion Buffalo Bill game coming up?
That's good. That's a good game.
Buffalo's
do you think
defense, from what I
Buffalo
saw
bounces
Sunday, is going to
back?
be in trouble.
Do you
Yeah.
think Buffalo bounces back? I kind of think maybe they're going to take it again.
Yeah.
They're going to lose again. And boy, you talk about a Buffalo fan base that'll be freaking out if they go from a potential number 1 seed to all of a sudden they're behind Pittsburgh too yet.
Detroit's gonna. I think Detroit's gonna. They're gonna shell that defense. I mean, you talk
Yeah.
about a shell shock defense. Now, we've seen this before in the NFL. Defense comes out and gets shelled. Next week, they look like world beaters. I've seen it.
Yeah, but
This,
go ahead.
I don't see it in the Buffalo defense. I see
Well,
that
I
as
mean-
as
the Lions bring the same thing the Rams did.
right.
Two quality wide receivers, quality running game, better offensive line, better quarterback. I don't know. At this point, maybe. I just think it's the same thing all over again. I don't see how Buffalo's going to stop them.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
And their defense looked really, really, really bad. That did not look like a Super Bowl type defense at all.
So
I
you got
wonder-
Pittsburgh that's hasn't won in Philadelphia since 1965, they say. And so you're looking at
You're kidding me.
Is that possible?
no, I wrote that down. Let me look here.
1965.
Yeah, 1965. Pittsburgh has not won in Philadelphia since 1965.
Wow. All those Super Bowls and all those good teams, and they couldn't win in Philadelphia.
Well, they might not have played very much.
Well, I mean, yeah,
You're
but
probably talking they're playing each other maybe every 3 or 4 years, but
still.
still, that's. But you-
I mean, Elway and Marino only played each other twice.
Isn't that
Yeah.
something?
So you got if you got Pittsburgh goes down to Philadelphia, and you got Buffalo goes down to Detroit. Well, you just as well. It's a shoe-in. Kansas City, number 1 seed in the AFC.
Yep.
Everything goes through Kansas City again. So this weekend is almost a must-win for Buffalo to have any chance. But I think their loss to the Rams was devastating to their chances. I don't see Kansas City losing 2 more times this year. I think 1 is a stretch.
I don't know what's Kansas City's. See what Kansas City's remaining schedule is.
I think after I think they got a
They've got the Browns,
Texans, Steelers, Broncos.
Steelers, Broncos.
Yep.
Well, they'll get at least 1 or 2 pick sixes out of Jameis.
I would say the only game that I mean, to find 2 losses on there, I would say it's got to be that. I would expect them to beat the Browns.
Denver's in Mile High, and they should have beat Kansas City back
At
in
home. Yes.
at Arrowhead, but the block field. You know, they create ways to win each week.
Yeah. I would say Kansas City's no worse than 3-1 in their last 4 games.
You don't think Pittsburgh can beat them?
I'm just saying.
Right.
They're either going to lose to Pittsburgh or they're going to lose to Denver. I don't think they'll lose to both of them, but I would say they got a better chance of losing to Pittsburgh than they do to Denver.
Well, they've only got 4 games left, which is good for me. That means I've only got 4 more losses coming on this season.
Look at Green Bay. Look at Green Bay's remaining schedule. If Green Bay goes to Seattle and loses this weekend,
Who they got? Detroit? Who they got left?
they got to play Minnesota yet.
In Minnesota.
They got the Saints. There's a win.
Ugh.
They got the Bears. There's a win.
Yep.
So they're probably safe then, because
I don't know. Seattle. I just can't get a handle on.
No.
I just don't understand them.
Seattle, Saints, Vikings, Bears.
They're Seattle, Jekyll and Hyde, man.
Realistically, Green Bay could be anywhere from, in my belief, 2-2, finish out 3-1.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go 4-0. They're gonna lose to either Seattle or Minnesota. They could easily lose to both of them.
actually I'm kind of hoping that Seattle continues to win, because I don't think that the Rams record will be good enough to get them in on wild card. So they have to win the division. So the Rams are one of those teams that if they get in, they could be dangerous.
Because they're healthy all of a sudden.
Yeah. So
They're healthy all of a sudden.
My Cardinals remaining schedule for 8 to 9.
your Cardinals kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little worried about this. 8 or 9 wins is looking a little sketchy now. They got the Patriots, the Panthers.
There's 2 wins.
At Rams and San Francisco at home.
2-2 or 3-1.
We still got a shot.
They got to go 3-1 for you to get to 9, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I said 8 or 9.
You said 9 or 10.
Now,
I did not say 9 or 10.
We always round up, so it's 9.
Yeah, it's 9. You say 8 or 9, it's 9. You set the bar at 9. You don't get it. You don't get to go. I think Arizona's a 7, 8, 9 win team.
I said Rutgers would go to a bowl game, and they're in a bowl game.
You had Rutgers in your top 4 in the Big Ten early on in the season.
They were.
My God, they were not.
They had a mountain of injuries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to another topic that is near and dear to at least 3 of our hearts. Who is the next Chicago head coach?
Well, unfortunately, it's not the guy I wanted, because he just became the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. So
Thank God. I did not want Bill Belichick.
I wanted Bill Belichick.
I think if you guys are smart, you do Mike Vrabel.
I want Vrabel.
I love Vrabel.
Because I think
he's got the personality.
Have you guys seen what's happened to Tennessee since Vrabel left?
He's got a good coach that'll fit just right in Chicago.
Yes, sir.
And he will build a culture that Chicago is desperately lacking. Some type of identity, backbone, whatever you want to call it, that we have been lacking for a while.
I'm with you on Vrabel.
We need a coach that is going to develop Caleb. That's the key to everything.
We got to have linemen to block for Caleb, or he's going to get killed.
The offensive line is playing good. Look at the stats. Look at the ratings. Yes, they are. Those tackles are playing out of this world. He holds on to the ball too long, boys. You can
look. He's a rookie. They do that. We knew that. That's why I didn't want to throw him out on the field immediately. But the game is so much faster, like Eric said.
We need.
Hey, I'm good with Kingsbury.
John Gruden is my second choice.
Oh, now I like Gruden now.
I agree. I agree with
We're going to hire some bum. I don't even know why we even brought this subject up. We're going to hire some bum.
I agree with you, Chad. I would much rather have an offensive-minded guy. The problem is the offensive-minded guys that are out there that have said they want to coach they are limited. No, I mean, John Gruden's name came up. If they said John Gruden wants to coach Chicago Bears, I'd be on it. If Kingsbury was available or wanted to interview the job, or they'd interview him, I'd be in on that. I am a firm believer that, and I think the numbers are 12 out of the last 14 or 11 out of the last 13, whatever it is, offensive coaches have won the Super Bowl. Okay, I'm in on that. I just don't think those guys are gonna come to Chicago.
I just cannot believe they didn't go after Harbaugh. I mean, it was, I was so excited when I heard him going to Michigan. I said, "Hey, Bears finally gonna get another coach. They didn't even talk to him. Didn't even reach out. Didn't even say, "Hey, are you interested in coming home?"
Kevin Warren is an idiot.
Yep. Kevin Warren has beef with him from Big Ten.
Kevin Warren is an idiot. Kevin, if you're watching,
he's gonna chase Poles away too.
Yeah,
Poles had no idea when they hired him that they were going to do this. They told him when they hired him that he was going to have total control of football, and then 2 years later they hired Kevin Warren.
Yeah, Kevin Warren, if you're watching, you are an idiot.
Yeah,
I'm sure you are. You're an idiot. Letting Jim Harbaugh get away was an egregious mistake, and you're lucky that the McCaskies own the team, because that is a fireable offense, and you still have a job. Kevin Warren, you're an idiot.
He won at Stanford with 3 stars, beating Pete Carroll up and down the field at SC when he had 5 stars. He's won everywhere he's been. I cannot believe that they did not bring in Harbaugh.
I can't either.
But Ben Johnson's not going to come.
No.
I'm not a believer in this OC from Tampa.
Here's the deal.
We need John Gruden.
We're throwing all these names out here. Do we ever hire the right person?
No, but here's the deal. Here's what I don't want to have happen. Even though Ben Johnson's not coming anyway, I don't know if I even want Ben Johnson, and I'll tell you why. We have gone the route of let's get this hot coordinator. I told Ed before the show.
Was Nagy a hot coordinator? No. Was
Kansas City?
He was not, because he didn't call any plays.
I get it, but he was an Andy Reid guy.
He was a hot name. He was
a hot name.
Yeah.
But my point is this. My point is this. Vic Fangio, awesome, defensive coordinator for the Bears, did a great job for the Bears. Has absolutely revamped Philadelphia with the rookies they brought in and turned that defense around. Dumpster fire as a head coach.
Yep.
So I don't think this is the point in time for the Bears that we can run the risk of, hey, here's this hot OC out there. Because when you're an OC, you're an OC. When you're a head coach, it's everything. And some guys are really good at doing this, but they're not really good at doing this, and then it takes away from this, and they're a dumpster fire.
John Gruden or even Jay Gruden, all these guys, McVay, Shanahan, all of those guys came out of him. They all are disciples of Jay Gruden.
Yeah. And listen, if they said Gruden, I'm in.
I'll take either Gruden.
I'll take either Gruden.
John, but I'll take Jay, the lesser Gruden.
Yeah, I'm in on that. Okay.
Skip Holtz? No. Albert?
No.
That's not
Sorry, Albert. No, thank you. I mean, I don't
even want.
Oh, here we go. Here's the one. This is the one I should have put up there.
What's the issue with Eric Bieniemy? Must really turn people off.
He has to. He's got to.
One, the initial problem with Eric Bieniemy, from what I knew, was he was like Nagy. I don't want him because he's like Nagy. He was the OC in Kansas City, which is you're not a coordinator. Andy Reid is the coordinator. He calls the plays. You just repeat what he says. That's all you are. You
Yep.
play your piano. The paper tells you what to say. He is not a head coach. And I don't know what happened in UCLA. Well, in Washington, with the Skins, he just got fired because there was a change in coaching staff. And when he went out to UCLA, he made it sound like he was just doing Deshaun Foster a solid, helping him out
Right.
because he's a friend. And he never planned on staying. I don't know if that's true or not. I've also heard that no, he was shown the door. So I don't know if he's so angry that he hasn't gotten a head job that he's going off on people and turning people off. I don't know, Albert. That's a good question. That's what I have heard. But take that for.
I mean, I've heard Brian Flores. I've heard Joe Brady, I think, is the offensive coordinator at Tampa Bay. Mike Vrabel. They float Ben Johnson out there. He's not coming. And I don't want an offensive coordinator who hasn't been a head coach. We've got to have somebody that has been a head coach.
It's got the chops.
That's got the chops to turn this around.
What do you think of the Oregon head coach?
No. It's a different game, man.
It's college.
Look, that's the guy that Alabama really wanted. That's the first guy, from what I gather. Of course, we did the glad hand of, hey, Kirby, would you like to come back? And, of course, Kirby said, no, I got things rolling here, and this is where I played, and this is my home. But the first guy we really went after when Nick retired is Dan Lanning. I love Dan Lanning, but I do not think he's a pro coach. I don't see it.
That's too much of a gamble. I mean,
Yeah.
Dan Lanning is an excellent coach, but he's too much of a gamble for the situation we're talking about here.
He's a college coach, and he's a damn good one,
Chip Kelly burned a lot of those bridges for people, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Nick Saban to Miami.
Well, did you hear him talk about that? By the way, it was interesting. He said that
Been talking about it numerous times.
he got overzealous. He didn't really look at the organization. He wasn't experienced enough. The organization wasn't secure at the top. They didn't have a quarterback. They were $30 million over the cap, and at the time, that was a lot of money. They were really old. They didn't have any draft picks because they traded them all away for Ricky Williams.
Look at what Miami did 5 years before Saban got there and 5 or 10 years after Nick. Nick didn't do a bad job there. Miss Terry runs the show in that family. She hated Miami. Hated it. She's a small town. They love it here. They wanted back in the college game. Miss Terry supposedly absolutely hated pro ball.
Yeah. So
All right. It's time to get to the pick.
Pick'em time. Pick'em time. First game up is a big showdown in the NFC West.
Big game for the Rams, man. They got to have this one to keep pace with Seattle. San Francisco's got to have it, but I don't know. So what do we got? 7-6 Rams at the 6-7 San Francisco. San Francisco's favored by 2. Who wants to go first?
I will. I'm taking San Francisco. I watched them this week. They looked like a totally different team. They're at home again against the Rams. I've got faith in the Rams, but
They're down to their 5th string running back.
So,
I'm just saying.
yeah. So,
Rams.
I haven't
Chad?
picked yet. You go, Ed. I haven't decided yet. This is a tough one.
I think I'm gonna go with San Francisco. The Rams have kind of been a team right now that seems to go every other week. They just can't seem to string them along. So since they got a big win this last week, I can see them stumbling here.
San Francisco needs it too bad.
I'm gonna go Rams. I don't feel good about it.
Well, I wouldn't feel good going with Brett either. I get it.
That's what I was thinking. I was
I
waiting
thought
on
you-
everybody to go ahead and go with San Francisco.
I thought when Ed and I went with San Francisco and you went with Rams, I thought for sure Chad would be like, well, I got to go with San Francisco now because Brett picked the Rams.
Houston at home.
Hold on. What do we got on the comment box? Mike has the
comment
Rams. Henry has San Francisco. Albert has the Rams.
So we even got a split going on there.
Kind of a split there. So next game, Miami at Houston. This is
This
to
is
me.
a do or die for Miami. They're running out of weeks, so they got to string them along.
Well,
This-
I'll go first this time since I went last. Give me Houston.
Houston.
I'm taking Houston as well.
Yeah, it's a sweep, but I don't know. My faith in Houston is not.
Oh yeah, I don't have a
High.
lot of faith in it either.
Yeah,
But
this
I-
game is a coin flip.
D'Amico Ryans is a real good defensive guy, and they've got a solid defense. And this is a game I really worry about too, is health. Not being funny because we know the history. Tua better get rid of that ball fast.
What's our comment line say, Ed? For
We got Henry taking Houston. Albert's taking Houston. We got Mike taking Miami.
it's almost a sweep. Mike's going out on a limb there.
Next game, we got Indianapolis 6 and 7s traveling to Mile High Stadium. Denver's 8-5 and 4-point favorites.
I got Denver.
Yeah, this is a sweep, isn't it, boys? This is a sweep.
Broncos.
Yeah, this has
Broncos.
got to be a Broncos sweep.
Yeah,
Unless-
I'm taking Denver too.
Ed, did you say you're taking Indianapolis? Perfect. I'll write it down.
No.
Yep, Ed took Indy. He's
Yeah.
going out on a limb. That Ed.
Ed's up by 3 games. He's playing pretty close to the vest here. He's not going out on limbs.
We got a clean sweep on that one. Albert and Mike both taking Denver too. Next game, we got Buffalo at 10-3, just coming off a bad loss to the Rams. They gave up 44 points against the Rams, and now they get to go to Detroit. So how's that going to turn out for them?
Detroit, Rock
Detroit
City.
12-1 and established as 2.5-point favorites.
I'm shocked about
picking
that.
Detroit.
So am I.
Detroit has got to lose a game somewhere, right? I mean, they're not going to go 16-1, right?
I agree with you there.
Not
Yeah.
this week. Give me Detroit.
Lions.
Clean sweep.
I'm telling you, man, that Buffalo defense looks so bad. I might not ever pick them again.
Albert he's the lone wolf. He took Bill's Mafia, so he's the only one. Mike and Henry both took Detroit. Pittsburgh, who hasn't won in Philadelphia since 1965.
Wow.
Hmm.
I'd like to know how many
Traveling
games
to
that is.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia is 5-point favorites at 11-2.
I'd say that'd have to be at least 10 or 12 games. Have to.
I'm not bucking trends. I'm going Philadelphia. I think now I'm going Philadelphia, but if we went by spreads, I would take Pittsburgh with the spread.
Yeah, I would
But
too.
I'm taking Philadelphia since we just choose straight up.
Albert's
I'm a
taking
little surprised
Pittsburgh. Henry's taking Pittsburgh.
I'm kind of a little surprised you're not taking your boy at quarterback there.
I am taking Philly.
That's your guy.
Russell Wilson is not my guy.
He is your bro.
Oh my God.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
You got a bromance going there, dude.
Jesus. Then take Pittsburgh. Go out on a limb, Chad. Come on.
We got
Just say
Albert,
give me
Henry,
Philly so we
Mike.
can make it.
No, give me the Steelers.
Ooh.
I got to make up ground somehow.
Yeah, you're right. Make it up or lose it. I just can't find the game that I can be. I thought Ed was going to go with the Rams, so that's why I was solid on my San Francisco pick, and he screwed me. I should have went last, but I went
So we
first.
got Tampa Bay at 7-6, trying to take a firm hold on the division, but they're traveling cross country to play the Chargers, who are 3-point favorites at 8-5.
The Chargers.
Give me the San Diego
Go
Superchargers.
Superchargers.
That sounds way better. I like that way more.
Yeah, give me the Chargers.
Give me the Fighting Hardballs.
That is a clean sweep.
Ed took
Tampa
the
Bay,
Bucks.
Ed?
Wow.
Perfect.
Ed,
Atta boy.
Ed,
Good
Ed,
job, Ed.
wow,
Man.
you
Ed has
something with it.
Indy. Ed has Indy and Tampa Bay. This is going to be a fun week.
Ed's wearing some steel underpants there, man. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I like it. I like it.
You guys can only wish.
Huh.
All right, this game. Green Bay is 9-4, traveling to Seattle, where Minnesota's played. They played Seattle, I think, the last 30 years they've played Seattle. Probably 29 out of the 30 have been in Seattle. I don't know who the schedule makers are, but Seattle gets the home game against Minnesota every freaking year they play.
What? You had to turn this about you, didn't you? Ed?
Yeah.
And-
We're gonna make this. We're picking Green Bay and Seattle, and somehow Minnesota gets one.
I'm picking Green Bay.
I'm taking Green Bay. I wish Seattle was the same. I wish playing at Seattle was the same, but it's not.
Well, I wish Seattle is just they're bipolar, man. Who is going to show up? Who's going to show up for that game?
Perfect. Give me Seattle.
I don't know. Henry, Albert, and Mike all say the good Seattle's going to show up.
Yep. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, give me Seattle.
And the final week, probably the game of the week, Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
We
right.
got the 4-9
Give me Minnesota
Chicago
by
Bears.
10.
Sweep.
Headed
That
to
might be the third game of the weekend.
Minnesota. Ed, you took Chicago? What the
Ed, you
hell?
took Chicago? Man, that is 3 games.
Oh, I
Wow.
got
Yeah.
Minnesota too. Sorry.
I like
Whoa.
it. I like where your head's at.
Chicago,
Ed.
look at you, Ed.
Gamble, baby. Nice.
Wow. I have it
I
written
got-
down here, so it's true.
Yep. I got Ed with Chicago, Tampa Bay, and Indianapolis, man.
The paper doesn't lie. Ed
I
took
love it.
Chicago. Ed
Yep.
took Tampa, and Ed took the
Indy.
Colts. Whoa,
Yep.
dude, you got some big old brass ones swinging. there,
No
buddy.
kidding. Gamble with the lead. I like it.
So we got a clean sweep from Minnesota, even in the old count.
Bears Den.
Albert, Mike, and Henry all take Minnesota as well.
Well,
Picks, baby. Draft picks.
No, we need to
I
learn
just-
how to win.
yeah, we do. That's
Well, it
why we
ain't gonna
need
be
culture.
this year.
Well,
need a culture.
We need a culture change. Losing doesn't help nothing.
No.
Hey, everybody,
No.
we hit 1,000 followers on Facebook this week.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes. The
Oh.
1K
Very
mark. The
Thanks,
Have we
1K mark.
decided what our holiday schedule is yet?
Oh, we have not. That's going to be
I
tough.
keep asking.
We
You
should've-
guys don't ever say anything.
We should have
Oh.
talked about that before on the show instead of whatever we were talking about.
Yeah. We.
Talking about nonsense. We should have.
What we're talking about, for those of you still listening, is, we've got the Wednesday is Christmas Eve. And
No, Wednesday is
It's Christmas.
Christmas,
Christmas.
and then the following Wednesday is New Year's Day. So we're kind of debating on if we're going to move the show, if we're going to. I don't want to take a break, but we've got to figure out how we're going to move it and if that's going to be beneficial. So,
Well,
here's the deal: I would gladly do a show on Christmas Day, zero problem with it. I would gladly do the show on New Year's Day, zero problem with it.
If I was to do a Christmas show,
I know. I'm just
I
saying
would-
mine.
killed.
I mean,
So
well, here's the deal. The next the was it the 26th is a Seattle. We're playing on Thursday night, the Bears. So chances are I won't be.
Yeah, I'll be watching that game. So,
I have no problems doing it New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I'm old. I don't go out partying anymore.
yeah, New Year's Day. I don't have a problem with New Year's
I won't
Day.
be. I know Brett is going to be hooked up to an IV, getting straight from New Year's Eve. But you know,
Problem is on New Year's there's a bunch of good
college
Games.
games.
playoffs.
Well, you know what?
Playoffs.
You know what? This is something that the fans, the viewers, don't need to hear us trying to decide on a time. So I want to thank everybody for listening again.
Real quick, Albert, we have not picked the college games yet. We've not picked the college playoff games yet.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We will Wednesday.
We have to do that next Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Albert, if you haven't picked up our Sunday show, go back and watch the Sunday show. It was kind of an epic one. You can
I was in my feels, Albert.
yeah.
I'm a Bama fan, so I'm still in my feels.
If you want to, if all you guys, if you missed the Sunday show and you want to see Brett on edge,
exercise some demons,
go back to the Sunday show and watch it because
for those of you who watched tonight thinking that we were going to be talking about the college brackets, that was Sunday's show. So
yeah, we did a pop-up show on Sunday.
Sunday's show, but again, we want to thank everybody for following us. We hit one of the milestones, so we really appreciate that. Brett's been working his hind end off. He's put a lot of material out there.
Yeah, he has.
Pat Brett on the head. Pat him on the head.
Good job.
So,
good job.
Anyway, so everybody enjoy another great weekend of football. And we will see you again next Wednesday night. So long, everybody.
Peace.
And that's the bottom line.